have a colloquy with some of my colleagues who are here now. I appreciate you and the ranking member including an element of FIRPTA reforms as something that many of us have been pursuing on a bipartisan basis for some time. And I certainly appreciate an element of FIRPTA reform that is being included in this markup. I certainly intend, as I'm sure my colleagues do, to seek comprehensive relief from the obstacles for investment in the United States. The piece of Senator Enzi and my legislation, along with Senator Schumer and Senator Isakson and others, is to increase the amount that a foreign investor can hold in a U.S. publicly traded real estate investment trust without triggering FIRPTA taxes, and applies a provision to certain collective investment vehicles. It's an important reform measure that will infuse additional investments into the United States, incentivizing construction, creating jobs and economic growth. And while I strongly believe we need to comprehensively deal with this antiquated tax, particularly by exempting foreign pensions, I understand and respect the limitations the Chairman has put on this particular markup. I want to make clear that the exclusion of the pension provision in this markup does not mean, in my view, that it is controversial or partisan in any way. Indeed, there is broad bipartisan support for this provision in both chambers and has also been included in the President's budget. There is also overwhelming consensus that the current form of FIRPTA discourages foreign investment and that reforming these laws will create jobs and investment. So taking together the Real Estate Investment and Jobs Act, which I am reintroducing with Senator Enzi and others, will implement efficient and meaningful reform of FIRPTA tax rules to encourage more equity investment in the U.S. real estate market. It increases investment in commercial real estate. Reform will jumpstart construction and real estate modernization projects and generate a need to build up surrounding infrastructure. I appreciate my colleagues, particularly Senator Enzi, who's our lead on this. Senator Schumer has been on this for quite some time, since I got to the Senate. Senator Isakson, Senator Warner, Senator Roberts, and Ranking Member Wyden to work with us. And if it's appropriate at this time to dispose of this, Mr. Chairman, with your concurrence or whatever you think is the appropriate time, I know that Senator Isakson, Senator Schumer want to make some remarks as it relates to this.
I think some others have some remarks as well.
Okay.
Johnny. Senator Isakson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Senator Menendez, Senator Schumer, Senator Wyden, Senator Roberts, Senator Enzi for their focus on FIRPTA. You know, for everybody's edification, FIRPTA was a congressional reaction to a Time magazine cover that declared Japan Inc. the new owner of American real estate. And Congress put prohibitions in foreign ownership for fear that Japan would own most of American real estate by the time the year 2000 came. Well, obviously that did not happen. But the restrictions of FIRPTA cut out a flow of capital into the United States, into the real estate industry, and in particular into real estate investment trust. It is only appropriate that we raise that cap, which is now 5%, to 10% in the bill that Mr. Menendez has proposed. And I further support his total reform, which I think this will be a beginning of, to allow foreign pension investment into real estate in the United States as well. We have the best real estate investments in the world. We are the safest economy in the world. We are a safe haven for people to bring their dollars, and to have a prohibition against investment in something that you can't move and it's not going to be any more of, being real estate, is really short-sighted. So we did it as a reaction to a Time magazine cover, which ended up being wrong. I'm glad that Senator Menendez is leading us in the right direction, and I appreciate him allowing me to have a few minutes to join this colloquy.
Yes, Senator Schumer.
First, I want to thank Senators Menendez and Isakson, as well as my other colleagues on this bill, Senators Enzi, Warner, Roberts, Jackson, but particularly Menendez and Isakson for their leadership here. You know, New York City is the gold standard for commercial real estate, but actually the proposal may be more important to my upstate communities, which are having a harder time attracting investment and need it. Many colleagues already know towns and cities all over America need more investment in real estate and infrastructure. And the package of FIRPTA reforms we've been working to develop, not only in committee, but with our colleagues over on the House side on Ways and Means over the past year, achieve these objectives, does so in a bipartisan way. So I, too, am very pleased with the progress we've made, and thank the Chairman for putting the safe harbor provision on the committee today. But I want to strongly emphasize that there's more work to be done before this package is ready to be signed into law. We have a history of bipartisan, bicameral support for the provision to treat foreign pension fund investments the same as U.S. pension funds, and that makes eminent sense to make this change so that pension fund investments that are currently going abroad can be here. They want to send their money here. We tell them no, and they invest it somewhere else. And just as Johnny said, it's real estate. This isn't creating jobs overseas. This isn't something that can be taken away. When the Japanese bought Rockefeller Center, it increased the value, and then when they sold it, it increased the value more. Just to use one little example, without any harm, with actually an increase to American wealth and American jobs. So I hope that we can move forward on the pension fund investment between now and the floor. I've already talked to the chairman and ranking member about trying to work with them, as of course under Senator Menendez, Senator Isakson's leadership, so we can get the whole FIRPTA done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Cardin, if you have any remarks. You want to comment?
Please, if I could, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, I especially appreciate Senator Menendez and Senator Enzi having prosecuted this cause for a number of years, because since I got on the committee, I thought one area that had always gotten short shrift is the effort to attract private capital to American infrastructure and American real estate. And the fact of the matter is, what Senator Menendez and Senator Enzi have done is created a path that allows us to tap the potential of hundreds of billions of dollars for investment in American real estate and infrastructure. So I think this is a strong start to tapping that potential. But as colleagues have noted, there is still far more to do. The fact of the matter is, this committee can tear down another significant obstacle to foreign investment by allowing tax-exempt foreign pension funds to invest in the United States without tax consequences. So let us move this bill forward, and then let us continue the march so that we tap every possible opportunity to get private capital to real estate and infrastructure. It's something that has gotten short shrift for years. The importance of this legislation is it is another step to the evolution of a policy that allows us to secure and wring out all the potential for American investment in American real estate and infrastructure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I hope we can resolve these matters. I would ask unanimous consent to insert Senator Enzi's portion of this colloquy into the record without objection. Second, I appreciate everyone's comments on this issue, and I want to say that I'm willing to consider the proposal in the future. However, as has been the past practice, a condition of considering this proposal would be that the proposal is paid for by suitable offsets that affect the industries that would benefit from the proposal. So that's where we are now. Any other comment on FIRPTA?
One final comment, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate what you just said, and we are more than willing to work with the chair to devise the pay-fors. I think we can get there.
Sure.
There's very broad bipartisan support, and I look forward to working with you and the ranking member to achieve that goal.
Thank you very